In what can only be described as one of the most tragic and disturbing moments in professional wrestling history, the world was left heartbroken and horrified when photos taken inside the home of WWE star Chris Benoit were released. The chilling images captured by police reveal the aftermath of a gruesome crime that claimed the lives of Benoit's wife, son, and ultimately himself. But what really happened inside that house? And why did a beloved wrestler become a figure of such devastation? Stick around as we take a closer look at this haunting case that still haunts the wrestling world to this day. It was June 25th, 2007, when police were dispatched to the home of Chris Benoit in Fayetteville, Georgia, after the wrestler failed to show up for a scheduled WWE event without any explanation. What they found inside the house was beyond comprehension. The once family home had become the scene of a horrific crime. Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their 7-year-old son Daniel were all found unalived. The details of what had transpired over the previous 3 days would leave fans and investigators alike in utter shock. But before we dive into the heartbreaking details of what police discovered, let's explore the chilling timeline that led to this unthinkable tragedy. As police carefully searched the Benoit home, they uncovered a dark and horrifying reality. Authorities soon determined that Benoit had unalived his wife and son before taking his own life in what can only be described as a slow, deliberate unraveling. Nancy Benoit was found bound and unalived, and their young son Daniel had been given Xanax, likely making him unconscious when his father cruelly strangled him till he was unalived. The thought of a father turning on his family in such a violent manner is almost impossible to process, and yet, that's exactly what happened within the walls of their home. Chris Benoit would eventually unalive himself shortly after. He used a lat pull-down machine to hang himself, leaving behind a haunting reminder of the physical strength that had once made him a world-renowned wrestler, now a tool for his own demise. But the question still remains: what could have driven a man, known for his dedication to his craft and family, to commit such an unthinkable act? In the weeks and months that followed, the world struggled to make sense of the tragedy. Some pointed to the effects of CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a brain condition caused by repeated head trauma, while others considered the possibility of steroid use and the emotional toll of the wrestling industry. Yet no answer could truly justify the magnitude of the loss. The photos taken by the police remain a grim reminder of the darkness that overtook Chris Benoit's life in those final days. They serve as a visual testament to a tragedy that shook the wrestling world and left a family shattered. What should have been a happy and loving home became a nightmare no one could have foreseen. As we reflect on this heartbreaking story, one can only wonder, could this tragedy have been prevented? And what lessons can be learned from the life and death of Chris Benoit to ensure that history doesn't repeat itself? If you found this story heartbreaking and want to learn more about how such tragedies can be avoided, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can raise awareness and make sure these dark chapters are never forgotten.